Well, good morning, WellHouse Church. Pastor Cullen here, excited to be back with you for another week of storytelling through the book of Acts. Forgive my voice. It is crazy allergy season here in Houston, Texas. This text is quite difficult for me to preach. You're going to hear more about it on tomorrow's episode of A Closer Look, but this is a difficult thing to preach because mostly this section is a travel log to Paul. But there's something that stands out to me as it is a travel log to Paul and where he has went and been going, and as he's moving around, it's a monetary log. All of these things cost money. To move ships around, to sail, to feed prisoners, to do all these things. It's a log of how much money it costs for Paul to do these things. And unfortunately, that's because Paul lived in a society very similar to the society that we live, where people are numbers. Unfortunately, people are numbers. You have a social security number, you have a driver's license number, you have an insurance policy number. You are a number. To the government, to big industry, to any institution over you that has to house you, you are simply a number. As am I, as was Paul, as is every human, except the people that run those institutions. And so, as I have been reading through this travel log of Paul's, I'm noticing some similarities between Paul's own life and our life that we live 2,000 years later. Let me give you two examples. These are from Acts 27, verses 1 through 12, as the text that we're supposed to be covering. And as I said, it's a travel log, as Paul has made his request to go to the emperor. And so he's trying to go to the emperor. And traveling by boat is quite the process in the ancient world. And so you have to make all these stops. You re-up on goods, supplies, all those things, fix your boat. And at one point, in verse 3, the text says, "The next day we put in at Sidon, and Julius treated Paul kindly and allowed him to go to his friends to be cared for." Paul's friends can offer him care because they don't view him as a number. Numbers don't need care. Numbers are inanimate objects. They're things, they're a system that we use to identify inanimate objects. Numbers are a problem when we treat people as numbers, because numbers don't require my care. Friendships require care. Relationships require care. People require care. And so we get to see this, where Paul gets to be cared for in this time of need that he has as he's traveling around, as he's literally in bondage, in chains. He gets to be cared for by his friends. He gets to not be treated as a number. But then we see a major shift. He makes some more moves around. And then this is what verse 9 says. "Since much time had been lost." Remember what I said about this being a monetary log? You ever heard the saying, time is money? Well, that existed in the ancient world as well. Time is money. And traveling by sea, there's a lot of unknowns. And so, since much time had been lost, something now has to give. Since much time had been lost and sailing was now dangerous, because even the fast had already gone by, Paul advised them, saying, "Sirs, I can see that the voyage will be with danger and much heavy loss, not only of the cargo and the ship, but also of our lives." So Paul says, hey guys, look, I know Like, I see what's going on here, but this is about to be real dangerous. I'm a little bit afraid that we might die on this journey. Paul extends a voice of concern, a moment in which he needs to be cared for. I want you to see how he's met. But the centurion paid more attention to the pilot and to the owner of the ship than to what Paul said. The story continues, and they set sail. You have to find out next week what happens, but it probably shouldn't take that far of a leap for you to guess that there's going to be a shipwreck. Paul's care was not met with care. Paul's request for care was met with the response of a number. This is a monetary decision. This is a calculated decision. This is a business decision. We've got to go. They talk about, in the later parts of the text, about it being winter and needing to be in a place to dock and all those things. It's a business decision. When people's request for care is not met with a caring response, sometimes we end up in a very peculiar predicament. Unfortunately, it's the same type of behavior that I think that has gotten the SBC into the situation that they are with sexual abuse allegations among so many of their pastors. WellHouse Church, we can't treat people as numbers. People are not inanimate objects. People are humans that need to be cared for. That's what we see in the person of Jesus. And I think often people extend a request for care, and they're met with the response as if they're a number, that it's a calculated business decision. I'm not going to give that homeless guy that money because he might spend it on drugs. I'm not going to do this because of X. Often I think times people extend the request for care and they're met with being treated by like a number. My request for you and others at WellHouse Church is that we don't treat people like a number. We meet care with care. And so my question to you for today is simply this: how do we do a better job of caring for others?